Welcome back to CoatCo, my sheet coating plant, where I'm the new maintenance manager, and we have 100% reactive maintenance. This is a mini series, folks. You must view them in order. This is part 3 of 5. We are creating an A3. We currently have our business case in our current state, the previous 2 videos. Now we're working on target state, and I've been in the job for 12 days. This is Joe Kuhn of Lean-Driven Reliability. Let's get started. From our common themes at the end of our last video, of our observed wastes that we saw that align with the business case. That's what we're looking at. The lead team is going to brainstorm target state, and then we're going to develop actions from that target state. We're targeting 30 to 90 days max to implement these things. We want to get quick results that are sustainable and rooted in best practices. I like selling this as a 90-day experiment, folks. And why is that? It's because people know that this is not fixed, and we know that we're going to learn and adapt. So sell it as a 90-day experiment. That's what I'm doing. So I set up a 4-hour offsite meeting with the lead team. I like offsite as well. It aids in creativity and as well as focus. The goal is meaningful momentum, folks, and sustainable, rooted in best practice. Further, the gap between the current state that we observed and the target must seem possible and clear so people can, it's not a major leap of faith to go from current state to that target state. So let's jump into it. The lead team brainstormed and agreed upon this list as target state. So I knocked out a few things. This is what our target state was. A standard, number 1, a standard work exists for communication, including the shift change of maintenance to maintenance people, midnights to days, okay? A standard exists for shift change, maintenance, and production. So how are maintenance and production people going to talk about the priorities of the day? There's a standard format we follow. Maintenance to maintenance within shift, with the personnel on shift. How do they communicate to each other? What's the expectation of what the issues are when help is needed? What's that communication look like? It needs to be formal. And lastly, maintenance with operations within a shift. We get a breakdown call. What's the expected standard for how they communicate? Is it, what is that? How do the maintenance people show up? How do operations greet them? Make sense? Okay, next, we have a standard process for work assignment. Priority is set via a process. We level work between crafts. There's a process for that. Within shift and across shifts. Nobody's doing more work than anybody else. Third, we have a process to flex up and down reactive work. So when reactive work gets too much, we can flex to it. And there's an overtime approval process. We got to get away from just being a blank check. Next, we have a formal system to improve, which includes doing PM, PDM work, problem solving, and OEE teams that consist of operators and maintenance. We have a problem-solving system, and we have an answer to the question, why is next month going to be better? There is reliability ownership by operations. Sorry for the little typo there. Reliability is owned by operations. They're going to be starting a TPM process and a standard process to support crafts during downtime, whether that downtime is planned or unplanned. Ooh, that sounds exciting. All employees feel empowered and know the process to improve. We have OE teams, and we have new roles for improvement, and we have improved the worker skills. So that's going to be interesting. So those are our target state. So from that target state, we're going to talk about action. So a little more detail here around each one of those target state conditions. So first of all, number 1, standards for communication. Maintenance to maintenance, maintenance to production across shift change. Okay, 30 days to implement. This is a pretty simple change, folks. Just need to document it, communicate it, and train people on it. Okay, standard pre-shift meeting of production leaders. There's one production shift leader on all shifts, days, afternoons, and midnights. They're going to have a production meeting. Maintenance is going to have a communicator role that comes in 30 minutes early. Say shift starts at 7 a.m. Our shift starts at 7 a.m. This meeting takes place at 6:30, and a maintenance communicator, one person, is going to shift their work hours up 30 minutes to attend this meeting. Okay, no overtime involved there. There's a standard format. It's best to do this. We're going to have a board on the shop floor. We're going to review critical KPIs from yesterday and talk about success for today. That's led by the production leader. Okay, it's standard. Then there's going to be a maintenance meetings at 7 o'clock immediately following. It's going to last 12 minutes long. It's a target, and then the communicator leads it. We're going to talk about priorities, help, short-term planning and kitting that's needed to align for success. Say something that's happening this afternoon, there's a coating change and we have an hour downtime. You can do some short-term planning. Fosters being part of a team. It's going to be a standard format. There's going to be a board on the shop floor. Again, we're going to review yesterday and talk about levers for success today and have some critical KPIs we're going to identify. Okay, so once a week, that maintenance meeting on Tuesdays, that meeting is going to be extended from 12 minutes to 30 minutes so we can review some weekly numbers, the monthly KPIs, first week of each month, status update, trends, to be determined. We're going to have some focus areas like we may focus on roller bearing failures or unwind and rewind kickouts. What are the top Pareto items? It's going to drive team bonding and alignment. We're going to begin with each meeting with EHS and then move on to production issues. The last 5 minutes of this meeting, we're going to have a 5 Why Tuesday. All are going to participate in root cause of a current issue. We're going to make sure it's a simple issue. The purpose of this is to solve a short-term problem and to demonstrate the use of the tools of 5 Why. So once a week, that extended meeting's on Tuesday. Production to maintenance employees. Now this is employee to employee. Standard work is going to be created for work orders. When production calls on the radio, we're going to agree on a meeting place and a best place to communicate the problem. The production employee is going to remain on the scene to assist in repairs. There's going to be a second person on the scene and to learn the root cause. And maintenance is going to stay on the scene to validate the quality of the repair. So it's going to be a two-person team effort. Don't roll your eyes at this one yet. I've got some enablers below, but there is going to be standard work for how an emergency job is communicated and turned over to maintenance and turned back over to production. Number 2, work assignment priority. 60 days to implement, and that's because it's going to take some time to select some people. We're going to create an emergency crew. 2 on days, 2 on afternoons, 3 on midnights. Remember, right now we got that as 3, 3, and 3. Our chalk circle observations showed 2-person can handle this 90% of the time. We're going to document problems we have. Overtime is a lever. We may have to call in people in early or hold on out late or do call-ins. Plus, remember, we're going to be doing PMs, PDM, and root cause work is going to reduce that workload. We got to give this plan time to work. There will be failures. Remember, this is an experiment. The remaining 4 persons, that's 6. Down here, there's additional 4 persons, all going to be on day shift. 1 planner, 1 reliability engineer, 1 PDM specialist, and 1's going to be accountable for all the offline equipment. I'll talk about how that works here a little bit. The emergency crew, they're going to focus on the running coating lines. They're going to work as a team to keep the lines running, expected to move between lines, but can have a focus on one of the line. That'll drive teamwork with operations. They'll call on the radio for Joe or Jim or Jane, not for the mechanic. The offline equipment, unless there's an EHS issue, environmental health and safety, or will cascade to a line downtime problem, imminent line problem, those are going to be deferred to days to the day shift SBA, okay? Minor actions you can take, but those primarily, if you remember from observation, most of those can wait up to 48 hours. So we're going to defer most of those to days. And if you do have an EH&S issue associated with the offline equipment or there's downtime issue, hey, you have backlog, your next priority is to call in overtime, okay? So we're going to try to protect the planned work by using a little bit of overtime. And don't think, based on observation, that's going to happen very much. Okay, now the planner and reliability engineer. Together, they're going to begin creating PMs, and they're going to begin with asset criticality, do that process. They're going to start by interviewing the crews since we don't have any CMMS data. We're going to target PMs to begin 2 weeks after they're in their assignment. Start simple, start with what you got. The reliability engineer is then going to get certified in VIBE and UE within 6 months, and the reliability engineer is going to become the lead problem solver. Look for repeat failures in lead OE teams that I'll talk about in a second. PDM specialist gets certified in IR, UE, and lube. Target 6 months. PDM specialist and reliability engineer, I want them to share an office for synergy to have 2 + 2 = 5. More than the individuals alone, the results will be bigger. Offline equipment mechanic. All offline repairs will be delayed until day shift, as I stated earlier. And that person is going to begin creating PMs, and the planner is going to assist them based on asset criticality. Okay, then these new roles on days are going to be selected by interview and testing. You may need to use seniority. We are not a union at my plant, but we're going to interview, see who's interested, talk about the role, define the role for the people. But they have to have a competency in it. It should be attractive because it's more day shift assignments, and it's enhanced skills and moves you from powerless to powerful. I really, craft people will love these assignments. Overtime approval. Hey, for the first 90 days, all overtime is to be approved by the maintenance manager. Call me 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. If it's 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., send me an email with the justification. Go ahead and work the overtime, and we'll evaluate that after the fact. But that's the process. I'll define that a little bit more for you. Number 3, planned work to improve. This is going to take place 75 days from today after we have the people selected. Those new day shift roles are critical. Repairs, root cause actions, PMs, and PDM follow-up. Each Wednesday, one of the 2 coating lines will be down for 4 hours. The outages are going to be timed with a coating change. Remember, we had 2 a shift, and that's so a 4-hour outage will only have an impact of 3 hours because you have the coating line change in there already, and there will be no additional scrap. So that's how we're going to nest that. We're also going to time that for the first 4 hours or the last 4 hours of the shift. That enables midnights and afternoons to work 12 hours that day and supplement our crewing. So the crews for the outage will be the 4 people on days, every single person come in that 4 hours, plus 1 emergency crew member from days, and 2 overtime people, or 7 total persons. Remember, one of the other coating lines is running. We want to have response for them, so we'll have 1 person covering that line. So 7 people doing PMs for 4 hours every Wednesday. Okay, and then critically, we got to get a CMMS system. This is some money we're going to have to spend. The planner is going to be SPA for that. We got to get that for the history, for the planning and scheduling, document what we're doing. Aids in problem solving. Number 4, reliability ownership by operations. This can start independently. We're going to have this in place starting in 30 days. The production manager is going to lead this. He's going to drive the greeting change and to assist with repairs. So whenever they call for a mechanic, what's the process? The production manager is going to define that and train all the people. We're also going to begin TPM, clean to inspect events during each weekly outage. Remember, we're down for 4 hours. Implement a tagging system, implement 5S for our tools. Operations are also going to attend a bi-weekly OEE meeting that I'm going to talk about below, so everybody's involved in problem solving. We're excited about that. Number 5, a system and a culture to drive improvement, moving us from powerless to powerful, 75 days. Covered a lot of this above, but we're going to start OEE teams for downtime on each line. Every 2 weeks, bi-weekly, for 1 hour after the shift, we're going to include operations and maintenance. The reliability engineer is going to do the pre-work, and the focus is we're going to create Pareto, what the downtime is on each line, and that reliability engineer is going to facilitate problem solving and focus with that data. So very excited about that. And we're only going to select a couple areas to focus. We're not going to focus on 50 things. We'll pick a couple Pareto's, and we're going to stay with that for many months. Pay for skills. This one is, I'm excited about this. 75 days. PDM, you're the the successful PDM craft person, $2 an hour increase. That's $4,000 a year, one person. Planner, $2 an hour, one person, $4,000 a year. The reliability engineer, $2, $4,000 a year. The line operators that assist with repairs. There's 3 line operators. There's the unwind, the rewind, and the mid-process. So 3 operators per line, per shift. There's a total of 18 of them. Give them $1 an hour for their skills to assist the operator. And what, I left that open for the future. Those are the main people that are going to be impacted by these changes. They're going to get new skills, and it's of great value to us, so we're going to try to protect that. Number 7, we got to have a communication plan. This is the only thing in this document that I have in red. It has to include a process to give feedback, and I'd like my HR manager to take that on. We're in discussions on that. We may have to hire a consultant, but I think HR can handle this. Okay, we now have actions. Okay, there's 7 of them. Notice how different these actions are from what your first impressions were in a business case. We were going to hire an outside firm to do some work. We were going to hire more people. We were going to hire PDM external to come in and do some work for us and just throw them into our culture and hope. And notice how simple these actions are and how empowering these actions are to the people. Note the time to implement these actions. We're talking about weeks. Weeks. The longest action was 90 days. And, part of that's the selection process and getting people trained. This is the power of chalk circle observation, folks. That's the message I need you to get from this process is observation reveals simple actions with powerful results that are rooted in best practices, and you just get the results rapidly. Hey folks, in our next video, we're going to discuss measures and expected impact of these actions. Hey folks, begin your journey. I'm loving putting this series together. Thanks for the question. Dismiss that. Sorry about that. Hey, if you got, I'd love the comments. I've gotten about 40 comments on this video series. Please keep them coming. And, if you want some free pointers from me, just you got my email in the message below. If you need an experience guide, reach out to me. I guarantee I can shave years off your deployment and forward your results. Hit like and subscribe. Thank you.